Head on over to Miami, where the Denver Broncos are coming to town. Miami favored by 6.5. The over/under on this one, 47.5. Thoughts on this one?
So part of this might be jaded Homer, and part of it might just be facts of life. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to wipe the floor with the Denver Broncos. I don't know that would. I don't know that I wouldn't bet the Dolphins if they were 12 or 13-point favorites right now. I really think that they're just going to absolutely crush them. Denver is a mess right now. Their defense under Vance Joseph, with basically the same personnel as last year, does not look in sync at all. Their offense, you get spurts, right? You get drives here and there where they look efficient and they look good. And then the next 6 drives, it looks terrible all over again. So I'm taking the Dolphins. Right now, I have the over. They're calling for possible weather in Miami. Now, if the weather hits, I would switch this to the under as far as kind of how I would bet that. So clear skies, I like the over. If they do get the weather that they're potentially calling for, I think that's enough to shift this down to the under, as both teams will be a little bit more careful with the ball, and you won't see them air it out quite as much.
Yeah, I mean, if the over is going to happen, it's going to be because Miami puts up 30, 35 points, which I think that they will easily do, because the Broncos have a hard time getting past 20 points. Like they just
right. Last week against the Commanders, right? Was an anomaly there for the first half, and big shot after big shot, and really where the Dolphins are susceptible are on the ground.
Right.
So that doesn't lead to big shots. It leads grinding it out, slowing the clock down, tends towards the under, right? So I think I might be talking myself into that under just because I don't think Denver can score enough, right? If they score 16 points, I think that might be a win, a moral victory coming up here in this game. I just don't see them being able to touch 20.
Yeah, this one's one of those that I honestly think this one could be 35-14 when we look up and see this thing, right? With Miami just trouncing this one. So I'm there with you. I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take the over, but I do like that call on the weather. If that weather is rolling in, weather reports looking bad, I'm going to shift that over call to the under as well, right? Like at that point, it might become a little bit more of a grinded out game. As far as right now goes, one of the props that I really like is Tua to go over 263.5 passing yards. This is one of those that's really seemingly the only part of that Denver pass defense that can do anything is PS2. Patrick Surtain. Other than that, look for the Dolphins to just spread the ball out, throw it all over the yard, and especially if Waddle plays, I'm thinking Waddle just goes ham.
Yes. So I'm disclaimer. Once if Jalen Waddle is cleared from concussion protocol and can go, whatever his prop is, I'm taking the over for receiving yards. Like it could be set at it could be set. Justin Jefferson this week is at 101.5, highest receiving prop we've seen so far this season. If Jalen Waddle had that prop, I would take it going up against the Denver Broncos this week. However, there is no prop for Jalen Waddle because he is in concussion protocol and still questionable. So I pivoted. I'm taking Javonte Williams over 13.5 receiving yards. I think they're going to have to use the screen game. Russ has been trying to get it out quick. They were pretty efficient doing that in the first game, going to the running backs and tight ends against the Raiders, and then got away from that in the second half. Week 2, they went a little bit more vertical. That wasn't sustainable, as we saw. So I think they go back to kind of a balance. But I do think that allows Javonte to catch a couple screen passes, get to 13.5.